Is this the Inquisition Plague Extermination Company?
Yes, it is.
Great. I was wondering if you could help me with a problem I have. What type of exterminations do you do?
Well, all kinds, really.
What about rats?
Yes, we do rats.
Great. How much do you think it will be?
Well, it will depend on the size of your infestation. How bad is it?
Well, it's bad. It's really bad. What happens when you take an independent French studio's second original title and a publisher that's known for publishing really good AA games and many, many rats? Well, you get this.
I'll keep them back.
So what the hell is a Plague Tale Innocence? Well, Plague Tale Innocence is developed by Asobo Studio, a French independent developer, and it's their only second title, published by Focus Interactive and was released in 2019. It tells the tale of the Rune kids Amicia and Hugo as they traverse a plague-ridden France set in 1348. First off, I knew nothing about this game. It only got on my radar when I saw its sequel was nominated for Game of the Year last year's Video Game Awards. But what I did know that it was about a girl, a boy, and well, it had rats, so it piqued my interest. But what I found was a game that was truly something special. So let's find out what the story is about A Plague Tale. The story follows 15-year-old Amicia de Rune and her 5-year-old younger brother, Hugo de Rune, who is plagued by a mysterious illness and hidden away from the world. When a mysterious plague and a family tragedy forces Amicia out of the family home and on the run with Hugo, Amicia must quickly grow up to protect Hugo from the forces of the Inquisition, survive the thousands of rats that stand in their way, all while trying to cure his illness. But what is his illness, and its connection to the rats? And why is the Inquisition hunting your brother, and what is the mystery of the de Rune family? The story is interesting and intriguing. It's filled with mystery, and I had no idea where it was going, but it was a great ride that I did have while I was trying to figure out this game. It's a story that has many themes of family, innocence, loss, character, and people coming together in adverse circumstances and overcoming them. It's heavily inspired by The Last of Us and Brother: A Tale of Two Sons, with family being at the heart of the story. Amicia quickly has to grow up and protect her brother, someone who she holds some resentment to but understands that he can't protect himself. With the world in a dark place filled with war, death, and rats, she finds that trusting people can't be that easy and that she'll have to stand on her own if she wants to survive and protect Hugo. So her character growth from the shy, unsure person quickly becomes independent and strong enough to stand on her own and with the help of others protect her brother and defeat the Inquisition. His amazement and wonder at the little things is a great contrast to the dark, bleak world that they're in. His unknowing and understanding of the world and the situation plays on the innocence that he has, but that innocence also gets him into a lot of trouble. He always asking the question on where his mom is, not understanding that, well, she could be gone. Seeing how Amicia protects him not only gives him the courage, but it also gives him the strength to stand on his own, and well, sometimes he needs to protect her. The story of these are great, and it's really the heart of the story with these two characters, and I really do like it. But they're not alone, and if you thought it was only about those two, there are other characters that appear in the story, and they're all come across by you journeying through this world. There's a colorful cast of characters, a young alchemist, thieving twins, and a strong blacksmith, each one bringing something different to the story that has something being done to them, not only by the rats, but also maybe by the Inquisition. While the story has a real theme, it is also mixed with some supernatural elements, using the very real Black Plague and giving it some supernatural elements and alchemy into it. Really keeps the mystery of the story going strong, the mystery of how Hugo's illness is tied to everything and why the Inquisition wants him. They try to figure out not only your family's history and how alchemy is the cause of all of this. I really did like this. The pace of the story is also very good, and even during the slower times it never feels like the game is trying to pad out for time or anything. The ending is well done, and even if it didn't get a sequel, I'll be fine for that. It's a tale I won't be forgetting for some time, but I did wish that the villains were given a little bit more screen time or just some more backstory or direction. We don't really get that, with the two main villains being Sir Nicholas and then the head of the Inquisition. I wish we were given something more because I don't really get a lot of their motivations. Well, I get some of their motivations, I just don't get all of their motivations, which does harm the story a bit because at the end it just felt like, stop bad guy, you know? I wish there was a little bit more given into that. But the story of Hugo, Amicia, the characters, the world, and what they have to go through is very compelling. Alright, let's talk about gameplay. A Plague Tale Innocence is a stealth horror game. More on the stealth than the horror. Since Amicia isn't a fighter, you'll be sneaking past many Inquisition guards by using tall grass, using rocks, and parts to distract them. At first, the game presents you with very linear stealth sections that are very small, but it quickly opens up and gives you big areas of stealth. This is where the game's variety in gameplay really surprised me. If you pick the right route, you can sneak past enemies without using any items. If you choose another route, you can find yourself in some more tricky situations where you'll have to, well, basically defeat them with items. But the game doesn't just allow you to use stealth to progress, but you'll also gain items that can make you more offensive. Using rocks to distract enemies can also be used to kill enemies with no helmets. But you'll also need to take out guards silently with other items, or you can have them forcibly take out their helmets and then allow you to kill him. If it's not enough, Hugo is also an element in the game. You'll need to look out for him and he'll be beside you throughout the game by holding your hand. At any point you can tell Hugo to stay behind so he can scope out the area, but you can't leave him alone for too long as you'll get scared and alert enemies. He and other companions can also help you in getting items or unlocking chests, doors, or even eventually taking out guards. Hugo I thought was going to be a huge hindrance in this game, but he wasn't that bad. I never felt that Hugo slowed me down or hindered my gameplay. I managed to do entire stealth sections without him leaving my side and him holding my hand throughout the entire section. So if you think he was going to be a big issue, he's not. So I thought he was going to be that issue, but he turned out to be much better than I think it was. There is one thing you do have to worry about, and that's the rats.
No!
Yes, the thousands and thousands of rats. These rats will be another source that will try to stop you in your journey. Make one mistake and you're done. But they're not impossible to defeat. They hate light, meaning you'll be using fire a lot. These rat sections are like huge puzzle sections, where you'll use the nearest light source to try and survive. Dead bodies, torches, hay bales, you name it, if it can make light, you'll be making use of it. But eventually they take these puzzle sections and they turn them into stealth sections, as you'll see guards patrolling with rats beside them. This is where the game once again switches up these sections and makes you take the rats that are something that you hate and turn them to your advantage, making you have the ability to use rats to your disposal, such as calling an enemy over, knocking the lantern out of his hand, and then having the rats devour him. That's something I really found quite interesting, was how you could use the rats in many circumstances. While they are going to try to kill you with one hit if you're not careful, the ability to switch up and change the stealth sections is what really makes it great. While you can find rocks and pots on the ground, you will need to craft these other items with materials. You can find materials all over the levels. The smaller items won't take too many materials to craft, but the more powerful items can take a lot of material to craft. You won't always want to craft these items, as they not only do they share the same materials, but they also share the same materials with upgrading Amicia. So if you craft the more powerful items, you'll miss out on upgrading her. It's a double-edged sword. There are also collectibles such as items and gifts and even flowers that you can get, but nothing substantial when it comes to needing to get everything. Not everything is perfect though. First off, the AI is as dumb as bricks. They're not very smart, and usually you can hardly get spotted at all. And while the stealth is varied, it's not that difficult. Usually when enemies spot you in stealth games, everyone is alerted. Not in Plague Tale, you can literally find yourself dealing with enemies and running around and getting them done very quickly, with you even getting spotted. At one instance, I found myself running around a heavily armored enemy and then quickly hit again and was never spotted again. Another point, I found myself running around that same enemy and past a couple of guards that never saw me, and I managed to knock out that enemy and deal with it. So they're not that difficult to deal with. The upgrade system also needs some work. You'll need to find a workbench and tools to upgrade, but the problem is finding tools can be very rare because the game likes to hide this from you. You'll need to scour a lot of the whole area, going into small nooks and crannies or houses that are way off your desired destination to really find some of the tools and even the collectibles. So that does harm it a bit, but future upgrades do fix the situation. The animations can also be a bit stiff when it comes to cutscenes and certain other animations that happen in game, but they're nothing too game breaking or stuff like that. I also didn't really have any bugs whatsoever when I was playing it, so that was one good thing. There might be a couple of times where the frame rate dropped, but there was really nothing else that was that much of an issue. As for the game's graphics, they're amazing. It's unbelievable what this studio can do because it rivals even graphics that you see on AAA games, and sometimes you don't even get those graphics for AAA games. The game will take you from your wood-ridden estates to a plagued town, a huge library, an underground alchemy lab, Every site is breathtaking. I just couldn't get enough of how much beautiful this game looks. Voice acting is also really good, music is well done, and the game's length is really good. It comes around like 20 hours with 19 chapters. When it comes down to it, I recommend this game wholeheartedly. I recommend anyone to pick it up and play it, especially for the story. The gameplay may leave something to be desired, but overall, it's a fantastic title with 20 hours, 19 chapters, and you just having a good time with it. If you can find it on sale, I do recommend to pick it up. Mainly say that because there's not a lot of replayability for it. In my country, it goes for 500 bucks. I would get it for around 300 Rand, maybe even a little bit cheaper than that. Nowhere near 500 Rand, just because there's no replayability in my issue. I know nothing about the sequel, but I most definitely will pick it up, and I can't wait to see what a Soap Studio does after they do these two games. I have no idea what the future holds for them, but it's completely bright if they were able to pull this off with it only being their second original title. So they're definitely one to watch, and this is worth your time to play. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please comment, like, subscribe, share the video, all the normal YouTube stuff. I'll be back with another video very, very soon.